Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Easter weekend and I thought this weekend would be a perfect opportunity to get into the rx8, the second rx8 that I had underway, the black one, GT. Today's Saturday and we had a bit of help yesterday from Faz and Matt, and it definitely was a good Friday. They absolutely smashed it. Together we got so much stuff done. I didn't even get a chance to film anything. For all intensive purposes, I was going to do, not a step-by-step, but a little bit more detailed how we go about mounting the engine and stuff. But with the two guys in here giving me a hand, it took off. And we got a whole heap done. So hopefully the Good Friday carries on and I get a fair bit done today, on my own today. Jordan's no longer with us. He's gone for a bit of a career change, and turns out he was packing a 12-inch penis, and he's going to give the OnlyFans platform a bit of a crack. In all seriousness, no, Jordan isn't with us anymore. He's not on OnlyFans. Probably does have a 12-inch penis, but he has decided to do something else, and we wish him all the best. So the motor's in and mounted. That all happened pretty quickly. We didn't even have the cross member made, so I made that in the car. The engine was obviously put together in the previous episode that was for this car. We knocked out a turbo manifold, radiators in, we've started doing some piping, fuel lines are run, surge tank has been mounted, pumps have been mounted, flex fuel sensors mounted, front mount cooler is in. Going to be a very straightforward one. This one will just be a small bend down into the front of the turbo. This one from the cooler will literally go straight up to the drive-by-wire throttle. The fuel reg is all mounted. I do want to keep the battery in the engine bay still in this one, and the plan is I want to try and keep the original Mazda engine cover on there and maybe try and hide all this. I don't really want any of the turbo stuff to be seen. So yeah, this is where I'm at today, and I am on my own today, so I'll carry on from where we've left off yesterday and I'll try and film some of the stuff that we're doing. Turbo manifold for the black RX8. Pretty simple wastegate collection straight out of the port there, so it's got priority feed to the wastegate. We'll get this on and keep going. Now, even though this is only just a water expansion tank, I obviously want to try and make everything blend in, if that'll focus. We want the water to be able to flow in there nicely, so take a little bit of time, make sure it's right. Doesn't matter if it's a water expansion tank, header tank, or your intercooler or your intercooler piping. You kind of want it to be right. Don't want gags and shit hanging on the inside there.
Now I'll give this a quick pressure test once it cools down, and then that can get bolted up on the car. It's not a critical component, but obviously a leak is a leak, and because you've got to take the water pump pulley off to get this out, once you have a battery and etc. sitting in front of it, it would be a right royal pain in the ass if it were to have a leak. So we'll pressure test that and make sure there is no leak. Alright, so that's all finished up, pressure tested. Now, this is where it lives. So you can see what I mean by it has to sit behind the pulley. That pulley is loose at the moment, just so I can get to the bolts. But it would certainly be a pain to get off if I had a leak and the whole job was finished. Alright, so that lines up with that radiator hose outlet pretty good. Now I will make a small support somewhere because that has got a little bit of flex in it, and to save it from cracking, might just make a little bracket or reinforcement just back into here. Okay, so we've got this 4-inch oval tube, and I want to get that down in there. You can see it just means it's got plenty of clearance, nothing's tight. However, we do need to make it go from a 3.5-inch round into a 4-inch oval. Not sure exactly how I'll do that, but I'm pretty sure it'll be one of those fuck around and find out situations. So we'll give that a whack and see if we can bang that into shape. We also need roughly what have we got there? Probably about a 10 or 15 degree bend. So I'll work out how we're going to do that, and we'll start working on the downpipe. Okay, so here's what we ended up with the downpipe. Now I started out with a bit of oval, and then turns out if you beat it enough, I actually got that back to somewhat round so that I can come into a 4-inch V-band. And now what I'll do, that sort of has to, on the car, I'll put it on, it'll explain a little bit better, but it not only has to go kick over towards the engine to clear the steering column, it's obviously also got to kick down as well, so it's like a compounding angle on in two directions. But I think what I'll do now is I'll cut this back, and I'll try and form that to taper down to a 3.5-inch, and then I can run a 3.5-inch exhaust on the rest of the car. Okay, so it gives you an idea on where the turbo downpipe ends up. You know, if you can see down there, you've got the steering column, so I've sort of got to get the pipe between the steering shaft and the intake manifold. Now obviously it looks like you could get a 4-inch pipe down there, not a problem, and if I kept it up high enough I probably could. However, it'd be super tight and not really ideal, so by going to the 4-inch oval it just frees up a bunch more room. Okay, so there's the turbo downpipe done. Now I've done I've cut some slits in there and made a taper to turn that into a 4-inch oval down into a 3.5-inch round, and V-band clamp on there. Aesthetically it didn't come out probably as nice as I'd hoped on the outside, but inside is mint. Not sure if you can see that in there, but yeah, that joined up really, really well on the inside. Alright, that's getting wrapped anyway, so I'll wrap that. Actually no, I won't, because I'm going to put a O2 bung in there. Then I'll wrap that and get it on the car. Alright, so Anzac long weekend here. Perfect opportunity to spend some time and fiddle around with the rx8. Try and get a few of the last little things knocked over. And also good time, bit of a relaxing time working on the car. No one's around, it's nice and quiet. And again, Faz and Matt turned up, and only too eager to get in and pitch a hand, and again it's just absolutely knocked out so many of the jobs. Bar wiring, I think we're just about done on this one. It's like, realistically it's probably between the three of us maybe 5 or 6 days in total that we've spent on the car, so it's been a really good long weekend. The exhaust is all on and done. Fuel system's completely finished. I think I'm missing an alternator and some wiring, and then I can put the front end of the car back together and look at starting it up and running it up on the dyno. So I'll give you a quick look at where we're up to. So a lot of this stuff's pretty much done. Obviously turbo's mounted, started on a cooler pipe. Cooler's mounted up there in the front. I've just got to get a battery, and I'll mount that in there, then I'll work out what I'm going to do as far as cooler pipe and routing. Fuel system is done. Heater hoses are all done and plumbed up. The dump pipe is done. As you can see, we've got a bunch of room down there now. Some light in there. There's a 3.5, so it goes from that 4-inch oval, and then we tapered it down into a 3.5 inch with a 3.5 inch V-band down the bottom there as well. Under the car, wastegate's mounted down low. It'll plumb back into the exhaust. Now from the 3.5 inch V-band, I've got a lot of mufflers on it and a little bit unconventional, but I really want this car to be quiet. So I've got 3.5 inch system. We've got quite a big muffler at the front into a resonator. And then we come back into a cat and come up, and we've got 2 more mufflers at the rear. I just need to get some pipes out to the back of the car. Now I know a lot of people will be like, oh, you can't put the cat there, cat won't work there. The cat is not your traditional type of catalytic converter. That's an abo cat. It's there, but it doesn't work. And anyone who's familiar with New South Wales laws will know that a late model car without a catalytic converter is an $800 fine, and whether it works or not, that one is on there. That'll save me a fine. That's all I'm worried about. Fuel system is all plumbed. So we use one of the original supply lines as the return line. We run a new -8. We've got flex fuel mounted up in the back there as well. All the oil system is all plumbed. Just uses the original rx8 oil coolers. Fuel system's finished. All we've done is retain the in-tank pump from the rx8. Comes out the original outlet. We just turn that around, go back to a surge tank. From the surge tank we have 2 pumps inside it, which will then supply, well, that's the line that'll run up to the car. We use the old fuel supply line as the return. That will just come up here, goes back to the surge tank to fill it, and last of all we have an overflow from the surge tank which will come back and put the fuel back in the tank. So that keeps it pretty simple. There's no messing around with the siphon valve, the float level. Pretty much you just got to pull the hanger out, we drill a hole in it, put a bulkhead fitting in, and then that can all go back together. And that works really well and keeps it very simple. So this is coming together really well and very, very quickly, which is always good. That'll probably be it for now. I've got a few little bits and pieces I need to order. I'll get them earlier in the week and get back into it, and then hopefully we'll have this thing wired up by the end of next week and fire it up and start running it up on the dyno. Alright, so mechanically we're pretty much wrapped up on the rx8. We're really just waiting for the wiring harnesses to come in, and I guess the first one that's been made in the batch will get fitted to this. So we've got everything mounted, and I mean the intake's not bolted down securely, but that's coming back off obviously to lay the wiring in. But that's how everything's going to sit. Cooler pipe's been made and it's off to the powder coaters. Battery will stay up the front, which is good. Just makes things easy and simple. Alright, so we'll leave that one there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.